it ties into OnPassive in a very, very positive way. And the first thing I want to mention is in the United States and the banking system in the United States. In 1973, Nixon took the United States off the gold standard. Okay, that was quite a while ago. And today, if you look at the dollar back in 1973 and you look at the dollar today, a dollar back in 1973 was worth $1. Today, that same dollar is worth 5 cents. Okay. Now, that's pretty shocking stuff, because when you think about what you earn and the money that you have, all of a sudden, it's not worth nearly what it was back in 73. And again, this ties into OnPassive. What does OnPassive allow us to do in order to correct some of those problems? And all of this has to do with central banking system, the Western central banking system. But what does OnPassive do to let us overcome that? And I'll get to that. And the question I'm going to answer today is when. And questions are always good. And I'm getting this question multiple times a week. When. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't even have to say anything. So the gold standard was gotten rid of by Nixon, and the currency in America has just taken a dive. Another thing, and again, Collins and Andy can maybe comment on this. I listened to a lady the other day, and she's from the UK. And she went to her bank, the AT unit, to withdraw money, and she was going to withdraw $200. And when she got the withdrawal, it wasn't $200. It was $20. Now, again, this is all about the central banking system that we both deal with and what's going on in the central banking system. And that's a whole different topic. I won't go there today because it's very, very complicated. But it was a shock to this young lady. She wanted 200 pounds. She got 20 pounds. And she's going, well, what the heck is this? Again, this ties into OnPassive. What has OnPassive done? Well, where is their financial hub of OnPassive? Where is it? It's in the UAE. It's in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Why? Well, number one, they've gone with BRICS. And BRICS is a banking system that you come in and you have to back your currency with hard assets, gold and silver. And the UAE has done that. Now, if I go to the UAE today and I have money in their banks, how much can I withdraw in a day? Again, in the UK, she wanted 200, she got 20. How much can I take out of the bank in the UAE a day? It's a good question. And the answer to that question is 20,000 pounds a day. That's a really, really big difference. Now, is it a coincidence that Mr. Mufareh has taken his the financial part of OnPassive and parked it in the UAE in Dubai? Our financial offices are in the Burj Khalifa. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. Mr. Mufareh knows exactly what he's doing and the reasons why he's doing it. The banking system in the West right now, they're going, I'll put this very, very mildly, they're going through some really, really big changes. And because OnPassive has its financial base in the UAE with a country that has their currency based on gold and silver, it is stable. In the United States and the UK, it's not as stable as you would think it should be or would be. And again, this brings us into what OnPassive is doing, how they're doing it, and just how ingenious what Mr. Mufareh has done. And it will answer the question for us, when. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. So when we look at OnPassive, we know, the big thing about OnPassive, people come in and they say, well, I just don't know. All you have to do is look at what OnPassive is doing today. And I'm not going to go over everything that OnPassive is doing. We know that they're in the UAE. We know they're in Egypt. We know they're in Africa. We know they're in Singapore. We know they're in the United States. We know they're in Great Britain. We know they're all over the world. We know that the things that they're doing are revolutionary, and what they're doing is it just makes perfect sense when you look at the whole world economy. So OnPassive is doing things the right way. And when you look at OnPassive and you ask the question, when? I want to start with this. I listened to a lady the other day, very, very wise individual, and she talked about waiting well. Okay, and we hear a lot about that in OnPassive. You just need to be patient, patient, patient. But she took it another step. It's not being patient. It's more than that. Waiting well. And she talked about it in her regular life. She talked about it in a spiritual sense. In her regular life, she said, listen, when you're willing to give people a little bit of grace, when you're willing to wait well for them, it usually turns out really, really well. And people surprise you because you had the patience with them. And then she took it into the spiritual realm. And she said, listen, when you wait well on God, good things will happen to you. And I understand that because God, he sees everything. He knows what your heart is. And if you're waiting well, he knows that. And I think that's applicable for OnPassive. If you wait well, and it's just not a matter of being patient, it's a matter of being positive about what OnPassive is doing. And again, I just went over some of the things that Mr. Mufareh is doing. So you don't have to come into this waiting well in faith. You don't have to do that because you can see everything that Mr. Mufareh is doing and what OnPassive is doing. And when you think about waiting well, I can tell you the rewards that OnPassive will bring to us because we've waited well are going to be tremendous financially. They really are. I see that every day when I listen to Mr. Mufareh, when I listen to Andy, when I listen to Collins, when I listen to Mark, when I listen to all the different individuals within OnPassive. If you wait well, the rewards that are coming to us, I believe very, very quickly, they're going to be tremendous. And believe me, you're absolutely going to love what's going to happen. So let's get to the question, when, okay? When is OnPassive going to flow? When is the money going to start to flow? When are the products going to start to flow? And it really is listening to what's going on within OnPassive. The first product of OnPassive that's coming out is OCONNECT. We all know that. And if you don't know that and you're new here, that's the first product that's coming out. Mr. Mufareh talked about it about a week, 10 days ago. He said it's ready to go. We're ready to release it. We're testing a little bit. Maybe there were a couple of issues they had to address, but OCONNECT is coming to the market very, very quickly. When? Very, very quickly. Okay. I can't give you a day, but it's coming very, very quickly. But that answers so many other questions that we all have of when's the money going to start to flow? When is OnPassive going to smooth out? All of those things. When we think about OCONNECT's ready. In my mind, it's ready. He can put it out tomorrow. Why hasn't he done that? He could put OCONNECT out tomorrow and he could start bringing in revenue today with OCONNECT because OCONNECT is so good that the people, when they see it, they're going to flock in, they're going to buy OCONNECT, and OnPassive is going to bring revenue in. That's not what Mr. Mufareh wants to do. Mr. Mufareh wants to make sure that not only can he take money in, but the money can go out. And when he can do that, that's when he's going to release OCONNECT. Now, when you think about that, does OnPassive need the revenue from OCONNECT? They're in business. If you're in business and you're not bringing in revenue, are you still in business? No, you're not. This is a really, really big deal for Mr. Mufareh. Now, is OnPassive bringing in revenue today? Yes, they are. All you have to do is look at the police summit, what they just got done doing for the police summit, which was it's a worldwide organization. All the police organizations throughout the world are in this. And OnPassive ran the police summit for the police organizations. Now, do you think they got paid? Yeah, they got paid. They don't do this stuff for free. Number one, it's a major undertaking. Number two, why did the police summit? Why did the police forces pick OnPassive? You think they just did it willy-nilly? I don't think so. I listened to Ron O, and I listened to Ron the other day, and he said something that was really, really appropriate. What do police departments do? What do? They investigate. Do you think they investigated OnPassive? Oh, I think they did. It's what they do. It was a piece of cake for them to go in, see who OnPassive was, what they're doing, and if they wanted to be associated with OnPassive. And the answer was, yeah, we do. Not only do we want to be associated with them, but we want them to manage all of our data. Did you get that? They want us to manage all of their data. It shows you where OnPassive is. So we have OCONNECT. It's ready to come out. They're already bringing in revenue now. OCONNECT is a big deal to bring in additional revenue and major revenue, because behind that, you've got 3 or 4 different products that he's also going to bring out that will bring in more revenue. And he's not doing that until he can pay you and I commissions. That's it. When he can pay out money, then he's going to release all of this. Is this a big deal? Does this give you an idea where we are? Does it give you an idea of what Mr. Mufareh is doing? Does it give you an idea of how important this is for the for the corporate side of OnPassive and for Ash Mufareh? Absolutely. They are not wasting time doing this. In my mind, they're very, very close. They have to be. It's not a question of, well, this is what we're going to try and do. That's not Mr. Mufareh. We don't try and do things. We do things. We see a problem. We find a solution. We release it to the world. He's doing the same thing with bringing in money and putting out money. That is happening today. And I believe we're really, really close. When? Is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a couple of months? I can't give you that answer, but it's in there. And you just have to wait well, look and see what he's doing, and understand he's not sitting on his hands. These things are in motion right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. They're in motion right now. And I believe in a very, very short period of time. Ash hasn't been on for, I don't know, maybe a week, 10 days, something like that. And of course, everybody freaks out when that happens. He's working it hard. He's working the problems. He's finding solutions. And when he has a solution, and I really think he already does, really, guys, I think he does. And now it's just a matter of, okay, when are we going to unroll it? So the question of when, you have to stay in the reality of the moment, understanding what's happening, wait well. And when I say wait well, do it with a good attitude, guys, because when he comes out with this stuff, if you got to, if you're waiting well, that's terrific. If you're just waiting, okay, that's fine. You've forgotten about OnPassive. You've gone about your life. When it comes out, you'll take a look at it. If you're not waiting well, chances are you're not here anymore, because Mr. Mufareh sees everything. And if you're one of those individuals that's not waiting well, you're just going to be so sorry in a very, very short period of time that you didn't wait well. So I recommend everybody wait well. We're very, very close. OnPassive, believe me, it's rocking and rolling now. And I believe over the course of the next days, weeks, maybe even a month, I don't know, things are going to change, and OnPassive is going to start to flow. And Andy and Collins, they're just going to be jumping up and down on the rooftop. It's going to be a good time.